This is To The Points with Jerry Azuma, and here are my top bets for tonight's NFL primetime matchup. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Primetime football, baby. Here we go. We have a triple header tonight, and first up, we have the Green Bay Packers traveling to see the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions are favored by 2.5. The point total for tonight's contest is at 48.5. Now, let's get right to the points. Last week, the Packers got an impressive win with shutting down the Vikings offense. They held J.J. McCarthy to under 90 yards passing while sacking him 5 times and picking him off twice with no touchdowns allowed. And offensively, they found a lot of production on the ground with Emmanuel Wilson paying dirt twice with over 100 yards rushing. Christian Watson led the receiving corps with 7 targets. Dude is big, fast, strong, and he should be the go-to guy for this matchup. Now, the Lions secondary gave up over 360 passing yards to Jameis Winston, and the defense gave up over 120 yards on the ground. Now, those are some big numbers, even though they found a way to win in overtime at home. Now, the Detroit defense as a whole shows some issues that the Packers will try to exploit creatively. I also feel strongly about the Packers' momentum at this point. I trust that Christian Watson will be the go-to target for this matchup, so put some change on Christian Watson going over 50 yards receiving, and put some change on Emmanuel Wilson scoring an anytime touchdown. And now for my main point. This is a big divisional game, and both teams should show their best effort to keep pace with my beloved Chicago Bears, who are currently in first place. Now, the Packers are a dangerous team. They're well coached, and they show balance on both sides of the ball. However, the Lions are explosive offensively, and they can put up a lot of points very quickly, especially on their home turf. I expect Jordan Love to play well, but on the road on Thanksgiving, I think the Lions will just be a little bit too much for the Packers to overcome. I have this game being a close one, but put some change on the Detroit Lions booting a late game field goal and covering the spread at home. Game number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs are at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a 3.5-point home dog, and the point total is at 52.5. Now let's get right to the points. Last week, the Dallas Cowboys registered an impressive comeback victory over the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. Now they face a Chiefs team that went toe-to-toe against a super solid Colts team and beat them in overtime. Now, the biggest takeaway was how the defense was able to contain Jonathan Taylor to 58 yards rushing and no touchdowns. Mahomes, he found some rhythm with his committee of wideouts, but he wasn't able to pay dirt, despite throwing over 350 yards. Now, the Chiefs rushed the ball over 40 times last week, and 30 of those carries came from Kareem Hunt. That's a pretty big workload for him. And now, with a quick turnaround, I expect to see the ball in the air just a little bit more, even with the return of Isaiah Pacheco. Now, Rashee Rice has been getting the bulk of targets, and I see that continuing on. Put some change on Rashee Rice going over 6 receptions and over 73 receiving yards. Now, for my main point, the Chiefs haven't looked like themselves overall this season, and they've been very volatile and inconsistent with their play on both sides of the football. They haven't been that great on the road either. Dallas is explosive on offense, especially when Dak takes care of the football. Now, they have the number 1 offense in the NFL in terms of total yards per game. They also have made some key additions to boost their defense. Both of these teams need a win to increase their playoff chances. It's a short week, and I like Dallas at home to not only cover, but to win this matchup outright. And for the last Thanksgiving Day matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals travel to Baltimore to see the Ravens. Now, the Ravens are favored by 7, and the point total is at 51.5. Now, let's get right to the points. The Bengals had high hopes of getting to the playoffs at the start of the season, and Joe Burrow went down with an injury. Since then, the Bengals have spiraled out of control, and things have not been good. But the good news is that Joe Burrow is set to return for Turkey Day, and with Joe back, this offense, it just fires differently. Unfortunately, they will be without T. Higgins, but they do get Jamar Chase back from his suspension. Now, running back Chase Brown and the offensive line, they've been doing some nice work the past few weeks. Look for that to continue on. The Ravens have managed to find some team chemistry that's resulted in a handful of wins. They haven't been as smooth as they've been before, but they've been getting the job done. Now, the Bengals have struggled on defense, especially when it comes to stopping the run. Their per game average of 156 yards rushing allowed is the second most in the NFL. And now they have to deal with Derrick King Henry. Henry is in a great spot here, and he only needs 19 yards to pass Jim Brown for 11th on the NFL career list. We should see a lot of Henry tonight. So put some change on Derrick Henry rushing for over 92 yards. And put some change on Mark Andrews catching over 3 balls to become Baltimore's all-time leader in receptions. And for my main point, Burrow, he's back and he instantly makes the offense better, but I expect a little rust on him. No T. Higgins, so this will make it harder for Jamar Chase to escape the doubles. Now, the defense for the Bengals haven't been that strong, and they are without their ace, Trey Hendrickson. For me, they give up way too much of everything. It's going to be a tough day to stop King Henry, and I expect him to exploit this defense. Baltimore is coming in with great momentum, winning 5 straight. Defensively, Baltimore has been top-notch with their scoring defense. Burrow being back is just smoke and mirrors to me, and I think that this is a bad situation for the Bengals on Turkey Day. I expect the Ravens to be explosive. Put some change on the Baltimore Ravens covering the spread at home. All right, guys, again, happy Thanksgiving. This is To The Points with Jerry Azuma. Make sure to like and follow. And as always, thanks for listening.